Hello and welcome to another episode of Try Talk. Today with me as ever is my wonderful co-host Scott Anderson. We are actually recording this in the same town, probably around 100 meters away from each other. But because of logistical issues, this is just like the easiest way for us to record. There's been more drama with Aneta. That's the reason why she's not here. Aneta has gotten, I think, first of all, she got sick. Second of all, her card declined some sort of payment for a car, so she's not been able to get to Molveno yet. I think she's driving up as we speak, and so she had to stay in Milano overnight. And yeah, everything's been delayed. So it's me and Scott here. But Scott, what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about World Champ start list short track, which is in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
The course, who's coming, some banter,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to comment on everything, and
Surprise,
the
surprise.
weather, maybe. I don't
The
know.
weather's going to be important, but I think consistent throughout this week. We're going to have a not
Yeah,
particularly nice week in
it's
Moveno.
going to be consistently shit, is what it is.
Exactly. But let's start with the short course. Men's race I don't think has a lot of changes. Women's race has a few new names, but maybe we should kind of talk about the course first. So you've raced here before. What does the course look like?
I'd say the course looks like unlike any other short track this year. It's very much. So if you've seen Molveno and kind of the setting, there's like a beautiful lake with some grassy patches around it and a lot of gravel paths, but there's no real easy way to put the short track because wherever you go, it goes up very steep. So the short track is centered around the beaches of the lake, which are gravel beaches, and some of the nice surrounding grass fields, so to speak. Um, so the loop kind of consists of a stadium loop around all the XTERRA Expo with some wooden bridges and wooden obstacles, which are pretty cool. Then you ride out along a beach, up a really steep grass climb, go down again, and then you kind of just go back into the arena and you do that 4 times. So, so I, I reckon, I reckon this course is less technically demanding as, for example, Czech, because a lot of it is just hard climbing on kind of slouchy grass that will
Mhm.
eat all of the momentum that you have. Um, and the only real tricky bit will be a couple of gravel corners, maybe. Other than that, it's pretty easy to ride, actually.
Yeah, and I think exactly as you said, the difficult sections where somebody could make a mistake. First of all, I think it's the bridge crossing where you come in with a lot of speed. I think it's easy to kind of have your wheel slide out from under you, and especially it'll probably be wet because it's the weather forecast, which we talked about. It's supposed to be raining and cold for the rest of the
It's
week.
always wet. So I've been already here for about a week, and it was beautiful sunshine up to 30 degrees last week, and bang on 10 a.m. Monday morning race week, it starts absolutely chucking it down. And it doesn't look like it's going to stop throughout the week. So two things are going to happen. Everything's going to get soaking wet. The bike course, especially for the long distance, will be really muddy, and the temperature of the lake will probably drop quite a bit because you got the water running down the mountains and accumulating in the lake.
Yeah, I think it's going to make the race, which in dry conditions would actually be probably one of the easiest Xterra races. Maybe not like Weston Park, but I think one of the easier courses. It's going to make it into a really hard and grueling slugfest, which we've seen the difference between the two in recent years. But back to the short track. Also, is the beach transfer included this year as well?
Yeah, we actually rode past it this morning, and it's marked off exactly the same way. So you
Okay.
kind of, to describe the setting a bit, you kind of come off of like the bridge that you mean, then you go past like a gravel path, and instead of going straight onto the grassy field, there's like a taped off bit that gets you down off the beach. All of it is off camber and really loose, but there's no like marked off track. There's just a barrier at the top so you don't go on the grass, and then you can choose wherever you want to go on the beach.
Yeah. So I think last year we saw a sprint finish between three of the top guys, between Sullivan Middaugh, Arthur Serrier, and Felix Frizzy. I don't think Jens actually was able to run with that group. I think this year he'll probably catch him on the bike again, and I imagine as opposed to last year, his run form would have improved. Um, However, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar result in the field, because Sullivan, I think, young guy, probably stepped up his level, completely smashed Felix in the US. So I really, that's kind of what I expect. Do you have a different expectation of the result?
No, I would kind of agree with that. To be honest, I haven't paid too much thought of what would happen, but it makes sense what you say. So yeah, I reckon it's probably going to be Sullivan that wins, and then it'll be French on 2 and 3, maybe. I hope maybe Jens. I mean, Jens shown a really good running level this year, so hopefully he can come in there. And obviously, for me, it would be beneficial to see as many people in front of Arthur Serrier as possible.
Hmm. So why are we saying this? Scott is
I'm just
currently
saying this to be a
sitting.
dick. No, I'm just kidding. The reason I'm saying this is because I'm sitting in 10th for the World Cup ranking, and short track actually this year is the last race of the World Cup. The World Champs is separate to that. And Arthur Serrier is obviously racked up a massive amount of points by winning. Did he? Oh, I can't even remember. But he like
He
placing
was
podium
third
basically.
in Czech, third in Czech, won the short track,
Yeah, he won the
and
short
got
track. That's
second
right.
in Zittau. And those have been the only races he's done. But because they give so many points, he racks up 100, 90, and then 70. It's just so much.
75 actually.
Oh yeah, 75, right? You know that by heart.
I've looked at the numbers. Yeah, so because he's obviously won the short track and then placed podium in both of the other races, he's racked up almost as many points as I have over the entire season. And now, if he I don't want to get into the numbers, but depending on how he places into the short track, it could get very hard for me to hang on to 10th. And I would really hate to miss out of the top 10 by just one place because, yeah, that's been my goal for the season. And yeah,
For our listeners, Scott needs to come ninth. If he comes ninth, it doesn't matter where Artur comes, and he will keep his top 10. However, then obviously the further down you go with the ranking, the easier it is for Scott to retain. Um, I think there's one thing working for Scott, which is Artur is not the best on the short track, in my opinion, and especially not on this type of short track. I think somebody like Sullivan, Felix, and Jens are more suited to this sort of effort. Historically, they have had better performances on short track, and Artur has been more somebody who has performed better on longer races. Um, and also, there's more people. There's more people who can beat him. What's working against Scott is there's a few guys who are on the start list. The start list is completely stacked. Pretty much everybody is here. There's a couple guys who could, and you would kind of expect them to come in front of Scott, like Maxime Chanet. Maxime hasn't shown up at any of the races this year, but he's here, and he'll probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he top fives. He's good. He's always incredibly consistent. Good on the bike. Uh, yeah, so I imagine he'll probably maybe top five, first of the humans, as we like to say. So I think that's one of the things working against Scott. It's
yeah.
I talked to Scott about this off air. It's surprisingly I was tapped to do some of the comms for the or some of the comms do the comms for races.
Oh, now
So
we dropped it already.
I dropped it. I'm really excited. I hope I do a good job. I really look forward to doing it. And yeah, you guys will hear me commentating alongside Jess
Mhm.
Cox, which is a really cool opportunity.
I have had the pleasure of commenting alongside Jez and Doug last year. I found it was really hard to get a word in between them because they're so good in the commentary game that they would just go blah, 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 and there's no room. You really have to force yourself in if you want to say something. Um, which is obviously because in commentary you got to consistently say something to keep the flow alive, I guess.
Hmm.
So it'll
I'll
be
I'll be
fun to
talking a lot.
watch. Yeah.
I'll be talking a lot. I enjoy being in a place where I can share all of my opinions about racing and share some of a passion. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah. I'll be gassed to watch it after.
Enough about me. Um, I'll mention the women's race really quickly. The women's race actually has I'd say three big actors that we don't really count on having. Um, Obviously, elephant in the room. Alize Patier is missing. She still is recovering from her fracture, so she's not here. Solène Billouin is doing the race. She is going to be defending her title. We have Loan, who is also going to be here. She is surprisingly arriving on Thursday. So like on the day of a short track, which I think maybe we should talk about that later if that's a wise or an unwise decision in your eyes.
Maybe we
And
should talk about
then
that on Friday.
maybe we could talk about that on Friday, um, when we have like Aneta, because yeah, she's in traffic. And then there's three names which we should probably mention who we don't really see on the World Cup. First of all, it's Barbara Riveros, who obviously won the World Cup in Czech. Uh, I really don't know what she's going to do. The World Cup in Czech was really good, but Loan, Solène, or Alize weren't there. And I think those girls just bring a different level of racing. So I don't know how she'll be able to compete. I think she'll be on level with them, and she'll probably have one of the strongest runs in the field. There's another girl who we also know from XTERRA Racing, Anna Zender. Anna's here also with probably one of the strongest running legs, a pair of running legs in the field. And then there's two people who are coming from the road who I think are worth mentioning. Number one overall, I'd say, is Alanis Siffert. Alanis is, in terms of the T100 ranking, ranked I think 23rd in the world or something ridiculous like that. She, I'll probably butcher this name. She did the triathlon de Gardmer.
Gerard Mayer. Oh, Jesus
Gerard
Christ.
Mer. Dude, I've never pronounced that before. Which is a French 70.3 race where she pretty much smoked Solène. She gave her 15 minutes, which is a lot of minutes. And she has some sort of background in mountain biking a little bit. So she'll be a contender for a win, in my opinion. And then there's one of the best Italian triathletes, road triathletes, Elisabetta Corridori. Uh, so I think I expect her to maybe come top 10, top 5, maybe if she has a good day. But the women's field is going to be absolutely stacked. You know, Marta's going to be here, Aneta's going to be here. The only person really missing is Alize and maybe Sandra, who also isn't here. Barbara actually was a last minute addition, I believe. So she was, yeah, I wasn't actually personally expecting her to race here. I found out this morning when we were swimming with you guys. And for the short track, I don't really know how it's going to play out. I expect more of the road girls to come through. I wouldn't be surprised if Alanis wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Loan or Elisabetta do really well. It's really hard for me to predict. But let's move on to the long course. Scott, what does the long course look like?
Other than wet and slippery, the course is a 1,500-meter swim in the lake, which is like 1,000-meter lap. Then you go onto a pontoon, run off, dive off, and there's like another 500 meters. There's onto the bike loop, which is 2 by 16K with about 300 meters of elevation, and it basically just goes all up the mountain. Um, One big long climb that we kind of always divide into thirds. So the bottom third is gravel road with some steepish bits, but not really technical. Middle third is quite technical because it's really muddy and wet and it's got a lot of roots. And then top third is, yeah, nothing to worry about. It's just a bit of road, bit of forest, and then you're almost at the top. And then the downhill is also thirds. You got a flow trail, that then goes into this clay formed downhill that is really spicked with roots and rocks. It's going to be extremely slippery, especially if it has freshly rained. And then the bottom third is kind of through the town to go through the arena onto your second lap. And the run course goes out along the lake, goes through the forest a little bit, and comes back. And it's about two-thirds gravel road and like a third in the forest with some bits of climbing and some technical features, but probably not the most difficult run you'd find in all of Xterra.
The course clearly suits a certain type of athlete. We would say that certain type of athlete being
What certain type of athlete would that be?
your name is Arthur Serrier or Solène Belouin. I think that is the biggest advantage you can have in this field. I kind of expect the same from both races. I think men's race will be influenced by the mud a lot, as will the women's race, obviously. I think some of the roadies that come in will probably have a hard time dealing with that, especially if uh, it rains on Saturday. I think back to the men's race, Jens will probably, do his usual thing, come out with 90 seconds on him, catch him on the first lap. And I wonder if the two French guys are going to be willing to work together or not. If one of them is going to call the other's bluff, like what happened last year. Artur said, Felix, I'm not working with you. Or, he made him do 90% of the work. And then he ran away from him. I wonder if Felix is going to be willing to go through that again, just to keep Jens behind. I think now both of the guys know that Jens can gap him and ride away from him and run away, keep that gap. I think the onus is up on Felix to make a difference this year. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the men's race?
Yeah, not sure.
Do you see an upset?
Mm,
Do you see an upset? Do you think Sullivan is going to be able to pull up and just win?
it's really hard to say for me because I don't usually see what's going on at the front of the races, and yeah, I don't usually go and look up after the race to like look at everything as in detail as you do. Um, I don't know. Like last year, Sullivan seemed to struggle a little bit on the full distance to the point where his dad, Josiah, was actually in front of him. He was fifth, which is mad
Ridiculous
at
result.
like
Ridiculous
45 years
result.
old. Um, yeah, I don't know. I could very much see something happening similar to what you said. The end are going to catch up, and then maybe they all just ride really hard to get away from the rest and see if it's going to be a running battle or yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do in their position because I've never been.
Do you think Josiah is going to beat Sullivan? Because I think so. I think so. I think Josiah is going to beat Sullivan. He's my horse.
Yeah, yeah, I could see it happening.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, I guess we have I guess we kind of we feel like we know what to expect. For me, the defining feature is going to be the downhill, whether or not it's going to be wet and technical enough that Jens is going to be able to make the difference. Outside of that, I think we'll see a lot of the same on this course, which is going to be a lot of fast running, a lot of power, maybe some group dynamics. Um, Women's race, I I kind of feel like I know somewhat what to expect. I think Loan's going to be good. Loan's going to be good. Is she going to be good enough to beat Solène? Is Solène in good shape? Solène just had an injury on her foot. Um, is Alanis going to be able to descend well? I know, 2 years ago it was Dita Diedrichs who was here. She's really good, and she was the only person who had the watts to stay with Solène and not lose time to her on the, exactly as you said, on the first two thirds of the non-technical uphill, just for pure watt test. But as soon as you got to the roots, Solène just put minutes into her, and on the downhill as well, obviously. I think it's going to be similar. That's kind of what I expect. I mean, it's a different position that they're having to push power in. The mountain bike is just so different to sitting on a TT bike. Um, so I just don't see the road girls beating the Xterra girls.
I
I
feel
don't
like
see
we've
it.
had this in the men's field a couple of times, right? There's always been a few guys from the road who come in and maybe even come in and
Richard Murray,
expect to, yeah,
Richard Murray
or
last year.
who was it 2 years ago? It was South African guy. I'm so bad with names.
No, Richard Murray is
Uh,
South African. No,
no, it wasn't Richard Murray. It was another guy. Either way, that was 2 years ago. It doesn't really matter. Um, yeah, and then I feel like in the men's field we've had it a couple of times. You get people from the road that come in and I don't know if they come in expecting to smash everybody, but they don't. Yeah, they don't dominate the field because of mostly the bike, the technical aspect of the bike, I reckon.
I think Kochat would have been really good on this course. I don't, I
God,
you know,
that would have worked very much in favor for the
for the
French,
two
for
French
Felix and
guys,
Arthur.
he would have just pulled them
I was gonna
away.
say then Felix and Arthur don't have to discuss about who's gonna take the lead because Lucas is going to.
This was the scenes of the original, Lukáš Domestique thing, because this was where he was pulling them on the entire non-technical uphill, and then as soon as they got to the roots, the two guys just dropped him and rode away from him. And it was just like, why is this happening? Just ask them, like, look at them, sit behind them or something. I understand you want to ride your pace, but it just doesn't seem optimal. Back to the women's race. Is Loan, is she coming on Thursday? Is that a good idea? What do you think? Is she going to have enough time to understand the course? How much time have you spent on this course?
I haven't spent a lot of time on the short track course, so first of all, so I reckon riding that once before the race, like literally as a warm up, will be sufficient. Um,
Which goes to
on
show how non-technical it is compared to all the other
Yeah,
courses.
oh yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, riding the full distance course. I mean, I don't know. How often has Luan been here? Probably all of the last years, right? Yeah, so I reckon like riding it once or maybe using the gondola do the downhill, to do the downhill twice on Friday would be fine, I
Enough.
think.
Yeah. Okay. Could work. Who do you have winning the women's race?
Good question. Right, who do I have winning the women's race? I mean, obvious choice would be to say Solène,
Hmm.
because her biggest rival, Alizé, is not here. But then you got the three wild cards, maybe, or however you'd want to say it, Barbara Riveros and the two road triathletes, whose
Plus
names I've
Anna.
already.
Plus Anna.
Anna. Yeah, but do you think Anna can beat Solène?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Selene did a recon with her and said that she was really strong on the bike. She really surprised her, and I imagine Anna's stepped up her game. Um, but I don't know if she'll be able to push power in the position. I don't know if she'll be able to, if her bike, because her
Yeah.
bike just had so many holes in it last year. She was off the pace of these top 1%
Yeah.
that,
I mean, it's hard to say because we haven't seen Anna race many races this year, right? Yeah. So I would definitely say Solène's gonna be somewhere on the podium. Probably, yeah, probably on the top, right? Um, but then you'll definitely have the road goals and mix it up. Um, yeah.
what about Aneta? We're
Well,
talking
seeing
about a
as
big bad
we've
wolf.
heard that she was sick and had travel
Yeah,
issues and
yeah,
generally doesn't speak for her, right?
yeah.
Um,
I think Aneta, if she comes top five in this field, she should be happy. I know her goal is podium, but there's like six incredibly strong girls who want to podium this, and only three of them can podium, and or maybe seven. It's just ridiculous. Like this, the field is so stacked, and anything can happen. So I think for the win, I don't want to put pressure on Solène, but I cannot not
you're
say
still gonna go
I
do that.
cannot not say Solène because yeah, I think Solène just makes sense. It's free time champion. It just makes sense. I have the biggest belief in her. I understand. In my opinion, it's between Solène, Loan, and Alanis, and I really think it might be Solène, but it's kind of 50-50 or 30-30.
Well, I mean, she's won a couple of times on this course already, so I reckon that would speak for her. She knows the course really well. And
Plus, if it's a hard race, I think Solène wants a hard race, a mentally hard race where it's cold and raining and it's just miserable. If it's cold and raining and miserable, I don't think the road triathletes are going to fare very well. Solène, who is just like built on pure grit, I think is going to do well. That's my
there we
prediction,
go.
at least. Anyway,
That's a wrap up.
that's it for that's a wrap up of our preview. We'll see you guys when we see you. Maybe Friday if we do a recap with Aneta. Maybe not. We'll see if she's game. And yeah, talk to you guys
Happy
later.
days.
Ciao, ciao.